Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, the SNP have lost the battle of the general election. And now the question is, can they avoid a civil war? But the omens are not good. As many as 20 sort of recently unemployed MPs have indicated that they want to go and sit up in Holyrood, get back on that old gravy train because, the gravy train is good for them, saves them having to work. But some of this sort of sudden influx of what you may say are very determined people, a bit of a, entitled people, really. Some of these candidates are good, some are bad, but all of them are going to put stress upon any kind of SNP unity, which is already, it must be said, very fragile. There's already cracks appearing on different policies. And it's a very mixed bag, I think, of candidates. You have some reasonably good ones. You have some very, very poor ones. You could have someone like Stuart MacDonald, who's recognised as being a good MP. He'd probably make a good MSP. Joanna Cherry says she doesn't, intend to stand. But had she done so, I think she would be a good MSP as well. Certainly someone who would grate against the party. So they're not going to rush to try and find her a place. But the problem and the tension isn't about whether these are, potentially good MSPs or not. It's where are they going to stand? How will they get selected? Will people who are currently in seats have to be deselected? And of course, even then, the battlegrounds themselves are changing. After all, the number of safe seats is a lot lower than maybe it was, and it's reducing each and every day. It's not as though there's a lot of options for these people. So it's going to even if they are selected, it's becoming increasingly unlikely that any of them would be selected. Would be even able to win the seat. And of course, then even if they did and all that, you're going to have a Holyrood Parliament filled with effectively losers, people who lost an election prior. Now they've got 18 months to go. They've got to sort this out, or they're going to lose all this, and I use the word quite incorrectly, talent. And they're going to be left with people who may be journeymen, who've earned the right to stand on the list for the SNP. Will they be bumped off? It's grim. It's going to be grim. And perhaps more troublingly, I suppose, for the SNP, though, is the spectre of internal election and selection behind the scenes. We've seen time and time again how people are parachuted in or people are bounced out. Mary Black's replacement, she wanted her bestie chum who failed selection. How the hell you failed selection for the SNP, I don't know. And then there's Tony Giuliano, whatever his name is, who failed to become an MP in one of the safest, if not the safest seat the SNP have got. In Fife, people don't like him. He's weird looking, and they just went, no. In their safest seat, and he couldn't get in because, he didn't fit. And that's the problem they've got, this internal selection and election process. It's not geared up for parachuted candidates. It's not geared up for weirdos. It's geared up for locals who've worked hard within the party system. And that's going to be there. Then you get people like Ash Regan. Now, she, of course, jumped over to Alba. Is she going to lose her seat? Almost certainly. I can't see Alba getting anything except maybe one list seat, maybe. And even then, that's not guaranteed. And will it be her? Who knows? So you're losing all these people. And the thing about the worst thing about Ash Regan going, who I've never rated as being bright, but she does stand up for women's rights, and I will give her that. She stood up and put her head above the parapet in order to try and beat Hamza Yousaf, and then a falling out with Hamza Yousaf, and effectively jumped ship over what he was doing. And yet, not long after she jumped ship, he's gone. She could have kept her mouth shut and still been in the SNP, and who knows? And it's just, these people are bad, aren't they? They're mad and bad. And, ooh. So whoever goes in, they do have a chance of perhaps taking Ash Regan's seat. That's probably it. That's probably the only one where it's going to be an open vacancy. But you can guarantee somebody's already been selected to fight that. But this influx of people from outside the area who are serial losers, who have been seen on the big stage as being ineffective, unlikable, full of infighting, often ill at ease with some policies for some of them, and then they're being dropped in on local committees. Yeah. And then, of course, you've got all those questions that are currently splitting the party. Which way will they go? Do we do this or that or this or the other? Is it that? Should we do this? And there's so many things. And, of course, the big one being gender at the moment. And that's going to split the party. And so this is where it's going to fracture. It won't be a two-sided civil war. It won't be a them and us civil war when it comes. It will be multi-factional. There'll be 5 or 6 different, armies, if you like. 5 or 6 different factions fighting not just each other, but one another as well. And there might be temporary truces between 2 of them over here so they can go and attack a third. But ultimately, that's how the party's going to break down. And it will shatter and maybe become even several smaller parties. There's no one who can currently unite them. There's no one with the charm. There's no one with the ability. There's no one with the political nous. There's only one person, isn't there, who could possibly step in and end the fighting and coalesce the SNP again. And that's assuming she doesn't go to prison. Oh, can you imagine? Please, Nicola, please come back. Save the party. Rise from the political dead. It's not impossible. I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want to see it. But I think for the SNP, it's possibly their only save. Frightening, isn't it? Anyway, thank you very much. Take care. We'll move on. Let me know what you think, and I will speak to you later. Bye.